It's Too Many Men on the Mic, presented by Vantage Credit Union, a NetFront LLC production. Now here's Coach Drew and Coach Jared.
I love it. The inaugural brought to you by it's down here, Vantage Credit Union.
They don't like your bank. We don't like your bank either.
Thanks to Vantage Credit Union for the shirts. Thanks to Vantage Credit Union for supporting youth hockey, not only in St. Louis, but youth hockey across the country. And thrilled to have them as our flagship sponsor for 2026 and 2027. So this is our first episode where we've changed the intro. Nice intro, by the way.
Hey, want to give a big shout out to Marina Gakukshvili and Sean O'Brien, our two partners at Vantage Credit Union, who were instrumental in bringing this deal together. And we've got some really cool, news to share on this show about how our audience can benefit from this right off the bat. But we're not gonna bury the lead. We'll talk about that at the first break. But heck of a change in the weather here.
Yeah, I mean,
it's very like a very nice and balmy here in Studio 1A.
Yeah, we had like a 70-degree day in the last week. That was kind of interesting. I think that was Saturday. It was almost like almost a spring or even a fall day, and now we're getting back into the August heat and humidity, although it's not oppressive. So it's just summer.
Yeah.
I'm going to take every day of it because I tell you what, when January, February comes around, I'm waiting for this kind of weather. So my plan is to enjoy the rest of this until it breaks. And at least for the folks in St. Louis, that's usually right after Labor Day.
Yeah.
I feel like it goes down about 5-10 degrees. It's still nice, but it's just not that oppressive humidity. And then September's kind of wonderful. And then we get into October, but October's hockey season, so we're inside it's no big deal.
You ever get the feeling sometimes we talk about the weather a lot on this show? Are we like the progressive commercials, young homeowners becoming their parents?
You know what though? I'm not a radar watcher. I have worked with many folks that are really like
the Weather Channel guys.
The Weather Channel guys got screens up and they've got the radar going and the plotter and the whole bit, or the Doppler, the Doppler.
The Doppler 4, Doppler 5000. Well, you make a great point. The weather is starting to change, or is on the cusp of changing. And, we talk about, this is the time of year where parent anxiety starts to creep up. Kid anxiety sometimes follows the parents because we're heading into evaluation season. And, when we originally started this show, I think if there were 5 parents, there were 50 parents who were always asking us or telling us or giving us, a wink and a nod. Hey, let's talk a little bit about evaluation, and not always in glowing terms. And I think it's important
with an
angle sometimes. And so, we're bringing on a two-time guest now, last time we had this gentleman on, he was in studio with us back at our old days at the Lou Info KLIS. But I don't think there's a better person really to kind of not only just talk about everything that goes into youth hockey evaluation, specifically here in St. Louis and in the Missouri Hockey District, but just in general, things that are going on as we head into a new season, and some initiatives, and just some questions that may not be getting asked that we have answers to. And that's our president, El Presidente of Missouri hockey, all of Missouri hockey, not just youth hockey, Chris Durso. So, Chris, come on down. Hey Chris, what's going on, bud?
How are we doing?
Dude, are you like in a hostage situation there? It looks
yeah, like in a dark room.
How you been, man?
I've been great. How are you guys?
Fantastic. It's August. Bring it on. We're ready for hockey season.
I know. Like practice for my team starts next Tuesday, so I got 7 days here.
Yeah, we've been kind of nibbling around the edges with what we like to call little skates all summer long. We have skates, not practices, not they're skates, and so now we're getting in. I know high school tryouts are beginning to start here, and I think as early as next week. You've got organizations. I think the Rockets, for instance, are doing their 8U, 6U draft coming up here and before the end of this month, where they get the kids all the little jerseys. So. Chris, it's been a minute since we've had you on. I think it was about this time last year, maybe a little bit later in the year, but tell us a little bit about, some initiatives and what to look forward to this season with Missouri hockey.
Yeah, so I think we've got a couple things cooking that I think are huge for us anyway. The first thing is we're going to start doing a quarterly newsletter to try to kind of get out information about what's going on in Missouri hockey. So there's a lot of there's I think there's been like a few years here where we haven't had anything like that to go out to kind of inform families and players and participants about what's going on. So I think it's a good time. I mean, we have a few new rinks, the new Car Shield facility going on. We've got the Chesterfield trying to add on to their rink. I know Kirkwood just renovated their rink, so there's a lot of things going on the rink front. There's a lot of things going on. We're implementing game sheets throughout Missouri hockey this year. So that's another new initiative that we just passed a couple months ago, just to kind of standardize score sheets throughout and to allow, just live scoring. And that'll be at the youth division. That'll be for the MVCHA in Illinois for that high school league. And then Mid-States was already doing it. So,
Yeah.
And most of the leagues around the country are doing things like that. So for us, it's good because we're trying to implement some cool things with the data that we can get out of the game sheet program, and that includes doing things with player safety, doing things with there's a fair play initiative that Minnesota Hockey does, and basically they award points. If a team has certain or is under a certain threshold of penalties in a game, that kind of rewards good behavior. So that's something we're trying to do because we find ourselves in a position where we're doing a lot of rules and discipline where we're punishing bad behavior, but we don't have a lot of things in our affiliate right now where we're rewarding good behavior, whether that be, you know, tracking penalties by association. So maybe we give like a grant to an association that has a good year in terms of not having a lot of discipline issues and that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of like cool things that we'll be able to do because we'll have access to the data that's provided by the score sheet system. So I'm excited about that.
I love it. It's basically the Lady Bing, right?
Right.
And then on top of it, I want to make sure I'm tracking with you, Chris. So what I'm hearing you say is no more stickers. No stickers.
There's no
First
more
thing I said to him when we were talking
fight.
about this.
No more finding the game sheet. We're going digital, baby.
Yeah. So there'll be an adjustment period for everyone. We're gonna try to get iPads out to all the rinks if they don't already have them. I've had the experience of using them, at the tier 1 level and then with Central States, and it's just it's seamless anymore. You can have a device and you put the code in and the game pulls up and the rosters are already in there, and if someone's not there, you mark them absent or hurt or whatever, and away you go. And then it's easier for the referees too for game reporting. If there's an issue, they have access to the actual roster. They don't have to go looking up the player. That's a big piece for the discipline process. So we're excited about it.
I love the Lady Bing angle too of rewarding the good behavior. So I feel like a lot of good things come out of Minnesota. So well done on following the charge. And yeah, we normally talk about who's on the discipline, the naughty list, but flip that. Let's talk about the good list. I like it, Chris.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the big thing is you're not at the mercy of the volunteer parents' handwriting. Was that
All
a was that
time.
is that a 38 or an 88? Is who was it that and I think it's we've had the experience, whether it's been at some out of town tournaments is where I first saw it a few years back, and then obviously Mid States has been using it for the past 2 years. It does make it so much easier. And it allows, like you said, I think we had talked about this earlier when Chris and I were kind of show prepping, is like, introducing more data that can, you know, help coach, help kids, feel more connected to the game, help parents and fans feel more connected to the game. That's what we need to help continue to grow this game. And I think that's probably a pretty good segue into talking about some of your other initiatives, things that you want to try to accomplish and that you're hopeful with the rest of the board members and affiliates here within Missouri hockey. Like, let's talk a little bit about how you want to, kick the season off here in 2026.
Yeah, so there's a lot of push, I think, at least from my perspective, and this is things that I'm going to bring to the board here in the next little while. But you know, areas around the country are doing a lot of growth initiatives where they kind of have like just really like a set program where they help associations grow the game, whether that be just new kids coming to the game or retention. And so what we want to do is try to award grants to our local associations if they meet some growth thresholds. So that'll probably be coming down the pike here in the next little while. And the things they're kind of cool. New York is really like a model for this. They do different things. They kind of have 7 initiatives that they like to see local associations do. And if the association does these things, they check the checkbox. They've seen a lot of growth. And so just like for me, the cool thing about being the affiliate president is I get to go to the USA Hockey meetings and kind of bend the ear of people that are doing different things around the country. So it's a cool. We actually have an affiliate presidents committee where we meet at the USA Hockey meetings. Then we have a meeting on our own. And I've gotten a lot of good ideas from that. And one of those things would be the growth initiative. And then we want to do some things in the 6U 8U realm. USA Hockey is kind of revamping their ADM programming. They sent some surveys out and a couple months ago, and I think that's going to lead to some bigger initiatives. And then here locally, like what I'd like to see us do is just make 6U 8U just more exciting. Just improve the product. I had a discussion with somebody at some point with USA Hockey, and the idea was to make it sort of like banana ball, like where it's just all fun all the time, full throttle. You watch those banana ball games on TV. I haven't been to one, but apparently they sell out almost everywhere they go, and it's just fun, right? Baseball could get a little bit boring, a little bit tedious, but and I think 6U 8U cross ice hockey could maybe get the same way sometimes. And I think there's just a lot of things that we could do to make it a better experience.
Multi puck. I'm telling you, multi puck. They don't hurt. They're blue pucks. Let's throw 3 pucks out there and see how many you can score.
Sure. I mean, things like that would be great. Like whether you have, a little like 5-minute window in a game where you do that or do some other things, kids come in costumes. I don't know. Like, it's just there's a lot of opportunity there, I think, to make the game. And I think that helps with those growth initiatives too. Just, how do you keep a 6U 8U kid coming back for more? Because there's so many other obstacles like expense and whatever else that we have that are problems or challenges in our game that I think if we can do some things there, I think it'll be important for retention.
For 26 and 27 season, is 8U still going to be half ice?
Yes.
Okay. I thought I had heard that thinking of potentially 8U maybe becoming full ice or maybe a hybrid model. So
There has been some talk about a hybrid model where for the 8U kids at the end of the season, kind of that transition period to transition the last few weeks into some full ice, but have it capped at some number of games. So that's been something that there hasn't been a formal proposal for that just yet at the affiliate level here.
I think something like that, if we were going to do it, and I see the merit behind that transition. Either it's postseason, like a spring program, which a lot of affiliates, a lot of organizations are doing, or you bioband it. We talk a lot about biobanding, kids and some of the research behind that. I know Massachusetts really leaned into that after the Swedish and Finnish federations did their study, and you are going to have a portion of these 8-year-olds who maybe could excel, or it might be better for them to be on a bigger sheet, but maybe not the full season. Maybe you have certain weekends or certain jamborees where you do it, and I think that there's a way to help the growth with the game, but still, we're talking about even midgets doing, 3-on-3 cross ice, being in that small area, no matter what age you are, it helps develop a lot of skill, a lot of hockey IQ, and a lot of hockey sense. So I hope we don't abandon it fully.
Well, I think the one thing we need to reemphasize some of it, I think there's probably a real diversity of experiences that families get depending upon what organization they're playing for or that kind of stuff. And so I think it's important that we make sure we have a good development model across the board. Just wherever you end up starting out, so that you know that the practices kind of look like the game, that they're doing the things that USA Hockey. I mean, the science behind it is great, right? So we just want to make sure the development model is good. And then you're right. Like, I think at some point in the season, especially for the older kids, there is that little transition period where, you're moving into full ice hockey. And there needs to be, I think, something there, to help that transition. And then, the other thing is there's probably, and this is probably, I'm just spitballing here, and this isn't an official Missouri hockey proposal or anything, but there are areas around the country doing, you know, half ice or cross ice squirt hockey, especially at the younger or the lower levels where
I was
it's,
just about to say that.
kids are learning how to skate still and that kind of stuff. So I don't think that that's necessarily not a bad idea, right? Not at all. So
I love it. I love it. Well, and I love the idea behind just wear your cape, wear your costume to practice at AE. How about that?
I mean, when you had the skills competition a few years back, I think it was Patty Kane put the Superman cape on. I mean, those are the types of things that, like, I don't know if any kids even remember if they quote unquote won their game at 8 in the morning when it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday.
Right.
So to me, it's I think the biggest thing, and we've talked about this before, Chris, is measuring retention. I love the idea of putting metrics and using data to understand you know, where affiliates could use help, where clubs could use help, where individual coaches could use some help by just looking. And there's ways for us to do this. I mean, cripe, you could probably look at USA Hockey renewals over a 20-year period and be able to kind of say, okay, well, you're going to lose, let's say after 6U, you're going to lose 10%. That's just off the top. But how do you like keep that from going to 20 to 30 to 50% by the time they're 12? I mean, we gotta compete. And right now, I think across the country, for the first time in a while, aren't numbers down, or weren't numbers trending down, or maybe they've stabilized.
well,
There's a lot going on there.
I think so. I One of my hats that I wear, I serve on the membership council for USA Hockey, and so there is some really good data initiatives that they're putting in place, that will help, I think, target programs that might be experiencing some challenges. It will help kind of identify what the retention issues might be. So, you know, to your point, if somebody's registered 1 year and then they don't come back, now who that is. Let's talk to them. Let's find out what their experience is. Let's let's see why. Was it, it became too costly, it became too serious, it was, maybe we need something like more of a recreational opportunity for a player like that. And there's not a lot of recreational opportunities in our game anymore. Almost up and down the border, you look at Squirt and Higher, and teams are traveling out of town, and maybe that's just an opportunity for us to add some programming that's not available right now.
Do you think, just curious your take on this, you've got the ladder, the floor has dropped here recently with 9U hockey where you can play on a AAA team. Do you foresee that's going to keep dropping, and are we eventually going to have AAA 6U hockey around the country?
I think I saw it on Facebook or somebody forwarded it to me.
One of my buddies just had a grandkid, and somebody sent me a 1U AAA hockey, so that made me laugh. I sent it over to him, but yeah, I think it's just everybody has this FOMO, I think, where they feel like they have to, and I don't know if that's something you ever fix. It's just a societal thing more than anything, but I hope not. I hope it doesn't keep dropping to 8U and 6U. I don't think that's healthy for our game. I don't think it's healthy for the player. I don't think it doesn't need to be that serious. It needs to be fun. It needs to be something they want to keep coming back to doing. And I think, one of the things is we just adultify everything. And there's, that's the one drawback I think from game sheets, is that like all the stats and stuff are going to be out there for people to digest too. And that was one of the things that I was concerned about when we started talking about it, is that would that create some cultural like issues?
Well, you just
You
don't
know, with-
just don't upload them if you're 14 or 12 year below.
No, you
Right.
upload them and then you tell everybody that your
Instagram.
for you kid had 12 goals.
Well,
Game
and
yesterday.
let's think about that too. And this is why I think it's so important. And I think, Chris, you agree with me to continue on with half ice at 6U and 8U, because you do have some kids who are physically maturing at a quicker rate. Could be born in January, playing against kids who were born in September, October, November. And if you go to full ice, I think you just precipitate one kid just going up and down the ice with the puck on his or her stick. And I still think that's why I'm not joking around when I say let's do multiple pucks and cross ice. That way you're going to get more touches.
yeah, I think that when you look at it, it's been a long time. It's probably been 16 years since I coached. It was a Might full ice game, probably 2008, something like that. So, that's how that game was. There was one or two kids that were pretty good, and they tended to have the puck, and then everybody else just kind of chased them around to try to get it. And there weren't a lot of puck touches in those games. I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm coaching an 11U team right now, and we rarely do anything full ice, even at 11U, which is the first year of Pee Wee. Because some of those kids, I mean, it's a long way.
Just mountains, right?
Well, we do mountains. We absolutely do mountains. Our kids are going to win in the third period. We win in the third period, kids. Well, we've got a little bit of time left here. And again, thank you, everybody. Chris Durso, Missouri hockey president, joining us here today. We led off talking about the evaluation period, and Drew did a great job of putting some pen to paper or some pixels to screen based on some people who were bending his ear. Talk a little bit about, are you having conversations at the organizational level with directors and club presidents about learning how they are doing their evaluations, if there's best practices to share not only amongst different birth years, but amongst the different organizations? What are some things that you and Missouri Hockey are doing to help take the temperature down in August and September as we do these evals?
Yeah, so I think like that's mainly like a youth division thing. But I've experienced it because I've been, I was a coaching director at Merrimack a long time ago, and went through just managed the whole evaluation process back then. And I don't know if there's like one perfect way to do it. I think as Missouri hockey, I think one of the ways we try to keep the process honest systematically is to have that declaration season, and during that October period where, teams, let's say a club declares at one level, but really, that declaration season kind of keeps them honest. And, you know, maybe you kept a kid at a level that he shouldn't have been playing at, and now the team's better than it would have been, and now that team moves up to a different level or that kind of thing. So I think that the youth division and the commissioners have such an important role in terms of the keeping clubs honest during that declaration season. So I think that as a Missouri hockey function, I think that declaration season is important. With regard to club leadership and evaluations and things like that, I think um, going forward in the spring, this is another initiative. When you asked me earlier, we're going to try to do another leadership conference and bring USA Hockey in and kind of go through things just like that. How to grow, how to retain, how to manage. And I think that's, important. There's some clubs that do a really good job here in town, and then there's some that maybe are falling a little bit short. And so we want to make sure that just goes back to having like kind of a uniform experience, that when somebody registers to play hockey in St. Louis, that they're having a good experience.
Chris, we got to pay a quick couple bills here. Can you
Sure.
stick around for us for a little bit
Yeah,
longer?
absolutely.
And when we come back, we're going to play Urban Legend. We're going to throw out some of these conspiracy theories that I've heard around rinks, and I'm sure you have too. And we're gonna throw these out to you and say, fact, fiction, is this urban legend? Is it truth? How much truth is in it? So let's dig into that when we come back. Just a minute. Too Many Men on the Mic is presented by Vantage Credit. This local credit union has something great for hockey players and parents. Vantage is giving away a $100 pure hockey gift card every month. Whether you're eyeing a new stick, replacing your skates, or stocking up on gear, you don't want to miss this. Entering is easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen, or if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts, visit vcu.com/hockey to learn more about the drawing and complete the quick entry form. It only takes a minute. While you're there, learn more about Vantage Credit Union. From everyday banking and competitive loan rates to special perks and financial guidance, Vantage is here to help you reach your financial goals. They're committed to putting their members first. Scan the QR code, enter the drawing, and see why the St. Louis community has loved Vantage for almost 70 years. Thanks again to Vantage Credit Union for supporting Too Many Men on the Mic. Membership eligibility is required. Now, back to the show.
Well, huge thanks to Vantage. $100 every week. I mean, did she say every week or every month?
Every month.
Okay, every month.
Every week.
Well, that would be 50. I mean, but every month you listen to Too Many Men on the Mic, you have a chance to enter. I mean, conceptually, you could have $1,200 by the end of the season to go spend at Pure Hockey. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a good reason to listen. We're back with Chris Durso, president of Missouri Hockey, and the tease from before the break was let's talk some urban legends, maybe not so urban legends, and dive a little bit deep into some parental tinfoil hat conspiracy theories around evals.
So, Chris, I'm going to throw the first start in our game urban legend here on evaluation conspiracy theories. I'm starting with this one because Jared and I have both been on youth hockey boards before. You have as well. And so I find this fascinating, but I'd love to get your take on this. Board favorites, urban legend or not, the most frequent suspicion is that head coaches, assistant coaches, and board members reserve top tier spots for their own children, sponsors, or close friends, leaving only a fraction of roster spots open for fair competition. Chris, is that fact or is it fiction?
My experience, that's a mixed bag.
Wow. Okay, here we go. We're gonna stoke the fire.
I love it. We're getting into it.
Let's hear it, man.
I'm sure that there's situations where board members.
Full disclosure: Chris Durso is Chris Durso Esquire. He is an attorney at law.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that there's situations. I'm an attorney. I'm not your attorney, right?
No, you're not our attorney.
I am sure there are situations where politics and favorites have happened. For the most part, though, I haven't seen that. I really haven't. So I would say for the most part, myth, but there's definitely situations I've seen where it's fact.
Well, I'll just add to this. I'm going to say fiction from a board member perspective because I had never been in a youth hockey board meeting ever where we were having a conversation about youth hockey association business and board members were tying their kids to team placements.
No. The only time this ever even remotely happened, you might remember this. The names will be changed to protect the. Well, I shouldn't change because one of them wasn't innocent. We did have a board member who was assigning bib numbers, and the first two skates, the bib numbers, and are supposed to be assigned based on alphabetical order. And this board member was positioning their child with what they perceive to be better players. So, and the long and short of it is, it was found out.
So look for that bib number, basically.
Well, it was found out. I mean, look, you're always going to have a situation where a parent or an enabler is trying, maybe has an agenda. I would say for the most part, this is a situation of correlation, maybe not causation, where if you have a situation where, maybe you've got a board member who was a good hockey player when he or she was growing up and then became a coach, their child is going to be evaluated at a certain level because there's a correlation there. It's not a causation that, we're putting this kid on this particular team because of his or her mom or dad. I think that does happen, but I think for the most part, I mean, I know being a board member and a coach, I've coached AA teams, I've coached B1 teams, and I've always coached my kids. So I can speak from my own personal experience that the kids pick the team.
But I guess what I kind of heard you say there is it's in the genes.
Unless you have jean shorts on, don't do jean shorts. Jean shorts are bad.
All right. We got more urban myths here. Chris, next we've got the predetermined roster. Many parents believe evaluators in the stands holding clipboards are just going through the motions to fulfill league policy, while the roster was secretly finalized weeks before tryouts even began. Fact or fiction, Chris? What do you think?
That's fiction. I feel like every evaluation staff that I've ever been a part of has been there with good intentions and with trying to be as objective as possible, even though it's a subjective process. It's just you're trying to figure out who are the best skaters, who has the best hockey sense, you're trying to figure those things out as you're watching. And
I would agree with that, and I would add that sometimes when I've seen evaluations and evaluators where you have more than one, they're really making a concerted effort to make sure that they've covered and accounted for every kid out there, every single bib number that's out there. I've seen that happen multiple times.
I think that organizations that have a plan and put as much thought into the evaluation and try to create benchmarks and have multiple eyes and have a plan amongst the evaluators tend to have the best results. I think from a parent standpoint, you have to trust and realize that it's not about creating a quote unquote super team. It's understanding this moment in time for your player. What level of competition is he or she going to have the most success, which will lead to having the most fun, which will lead to them staying with the game. The biggest caveat here is this is an imperfect system. And there might be an opportunity where your child is misplaced. There's also a really good opportunity that your child is going to be a different hockey player in December or January than they were in August and September, and that's a good thing. Good organizations, the deck season, and even some organizations who stretch that bandwidth of we've got until December 31st until this is written in stone. I would say that it's a myth, with the caveat that the better the organizations put thoughts and process behind it, the better those and the more reasonable those conversations can be. And the one other thing I will say is evaluations, and whether this is a good thing or bad thing is not the question, but the evaluation process, especially when you're in that Central States AA, AAA, it starts before the tryouts, because many of these clubs are hosting skates and they're hosting spring programs. But I think, again, I agree wholeheartedly with Chris that this is a myth.
All right. How about urban legend number 3, holding players back to stack lower teams? This popular theory claims directors deliberately place a dominant player on a lower tier team specifically to guarantee that team wins a division championship. Chris, what do you think? Fact or fiction?
I think for the most part, that's fiction. I think there's some, if you're a smaller organization and let's say you only have, I look at some of the experiences I've had. There are like AA players playing on B level teams sometimes in organizations that don't have a lot of players. So I think that happens.
That's
just
a really good point. Yeah, for small
Right.
organizations that don't have a lot of players, absolutely.
But I think for the most part, at least in Missouri hockey, the declaration season kind of keeps that on. There's a little bit of honesty that has to happen. If a player is going to come out and score 5 goals every game playing at a B level, that team probably gets moved up to the next level, right? So, just kind of way the process works. So I haven't seen it very much, but it probably happens.
One time I've seen it. One time. And I would say for the most part, my experience has actually been coaches want to fight that. They want to deck up, or they want to be in the higher division first.
Right.
I've seen it one time, and that person ruined it for everyone. But I think for the most part, most coaches, players, parents, organizations would rather deck up and see how it goes. Obviously, and I've seen this firsthand being a part of a board as a view that Missouri hockey, the youth divisions, you play enough teams in September and October, we know where you're going to fall.
Yep.
It's really well done.
All right, one more urban legend, targeted grudges. This theory is that if a parent had a disagreement with a coach, a team manager, or board member the previous season, they often suspect the child is being punished during evaluation as payback. So delicious. What do you think?
Ooh, delicious. That's a word.
I just don't see very much of that. I mean, I'm sure that there's people with vendettas and stuff out there, but I think for the most part, the people involved in administration at this, in this game are good-hearted people that really want to do right by kids and families and keep kids and families in the game. And so, so the vast majority of organizations, I just don't think that's anything that's ever even like in the realm of possibilities. But I'm sure it's happened.
I love your answer because I want to believe absolutely not. good organizations, people are good. I believe it until I see differently. But I'm with you. The possibility that the door could be open to perhaps a vendetta out there. You got something to add, I can tell.
So here's the
Let's
thing.
hear it.
Here's the thing. I have been around evaluations and tryouts and placements where, you know, coaches and evaluators have held their nose and said, we're going to take this kid despite, you know, what we know is coming down the path. I think it's you have two groups of people looking through the window from opposite sides. You know, one person, you know, a family who thinks it's a grudge or a vendetta, whereas everybody else is like, no, you've been a problem, you know, and sometimes you can't, you've got to step outside of your own bubble and maybe try to evaluate yourself. If you're feeling that as a parent, that there are problems with a specific coach or there's problems with an organization and it's year after year and it's different people every year, well, the common denominator is you. And I will say this, I will say this, there are, especially as you age up, because as you age up, as your kids get older, what ends up happening is like kids catch up, the skill levels start to level out. Then yeah, I think the family baggage, it's not grudge or vendetta. It's like, you know, it's a total package. You're not just taking a kid and putting him or her on a team. It's like you're dealing with you become a family for the next 6 to 7 months. So I think there is some of that in there, but an absolute grudge, like the Hatfields and McCoys, no, that doesn't happen. That does not happen.
Chris, don't you think some of these conspiracies, being a part of youth hockey for as long as you have and continuing to be a leader here in the state of Missouri, is a reflection of just the investment that some of these parents make? And what I mean is, well, I spent money at 3 camps this summer. And yeah, I might not know a lot about hockey, but since I've spent money on 3 camps this summer, then that means my kid is better than somebody that didn't go to 3 camps this summer. Is that some of what's feeding this, do you think?
I think it's financial. It's also, you know, we talked about it earlier. It's the FOMO thing. You know, I'm not going to mention any names, but they're, you know, people think that their son or daughter has to play at a certain level in order to get to the next level. And if they're not there at, you know, whatever age, 13, 14, 15, they start to get, you know, a little bit panicked, and maybe they, you know, send their kids out of town, or the, you know, or do some crazy, I don't know, I'm going to say crazy, but I think there's some things like that happen, right? And so it's because they have so much invested in it. And, you know, it's hard to see your kid, you know, fall short of their goals too, right? So that's another thing. I think, as I'm not a parent, so I don't know exactly how that feels, but, you know, that's got to be something that you have to handle as a parent. How do you teach your kid how to deal with adversity? Maybe not making the team that they wanted to make, and now they have to settle for playing on another team and maybe being the best player on that team, you know, or you know, maybe not, maybe in the middle of the pack. And how do you move up to the top of the pack? You know, it's just, I think it goes into parenting, and then it's a cultural thing more than anything else, that you know, everybody wants the best for their kids.
Well, I think that's a great sentence to end on. Everybody does want the best for their kids, and I think that's, you know, ubiquitous across most of youth hockey. Precipitates, ubiquitous, salacious, erroneous. Chris, let's take it back to the beginning. We talked a little bit about that 6U, 8U experience. I know you and I talked offline. Drew and I, Too Many Men on the Mic and Vantage Credit Union, are excited to hopefully help make that experience even better this season. We're looking forward to hopefully sitting down with you and others to work on that, maybe have a concert or two. Yeah. But getting, you know, between the benches, talking to the kids, yucking it up, but really, really, you know, having fun, having the coaches have fun and the kids have fun and the families have fun. So thank you for all you do. You've been a great friend. I talked to you a lot about things from a coaching standpoint. And, you know, you've been a fixture in our life here for the last few years, as you coached my son a few years ago. So thank you for all you do for youth hockey, for Missouri hockey. And we'll look forward to having you on again here really soon.
Yeah, no, I appreciate all the things you guys do. This is awesome, and I like the new format too. It's good. So
We'll have to get you down.
next time I'll have to get a matching shirt too, so I can.
Well,
So I
we'll
can fit
send
in.
we'll send you some new swag. We
Yeah,
got
some
some
new
swag.
swag.
We got some swag out there. So we're all set.
Absolutely, guys. Well, thanks for the time, and appreciate all you do, and look forward to working with you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks,
Talk to you
Chris.
soon.
Take care.
I loved the urban legend.
Urban
I
legend,
loved it.
right?
I loved I loved your angle on all that. And there's sometimes a little what happens is it happened once. And then it becomes like the story. Nobody ever wants to hear like, oh, things were great. The kid was on the right team. Everybody was happy. It was awesome. Nobody wants to hear
It
that.
happens. It's always.
Everybody wants a salacious story.
The other thing I was thinking about was swimming, for example. Let's use that.
That thing you do before you die.
There's time. There's time. I mean, hockey's objective.
Yes.
So we don't have as a community
Mm.
a template, a way that we say, here's how evaluations are gonna happen. We're gonna see how fast you skate from the goal line to the blue line. Then we're gonna time you on this. Then we're gonna time you on that. And so hockey is objective, or is much more subjective. Is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
And so you either have the puck or you don't have the puck. And if you don't have the puck, then you're looking for behavior and things that are happening that not necessarily you can measure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think that's a great and apologies to all my swimmer friends out there. I actually have I actually have a friend who's a very good who's a very big time swimmer. See, I scared Drew so much he got out of the picture
I
here.
know.
I think as I go back and I always go back to what I said about having a plan. Having a plan is the most important thing in all of this. And my experience with organizations that I've been a part of, evaluations or tryouts, is when you have a matrix and you're able to set a benchmark about those types of things. Scale of 1 to 5, how does this person, and this player skate backwards, skate forwards, control the puck? And part of this, I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, how often does this player have the puck on his or her stick? How do you notice them when they're out there? And I always tell players and parents, if they ask, is as you're going into tryouts and evaluations, you want to play and perform as if it was game 7 of the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Because
Even skating to the bench.
absolutely. It's line change. Line change is the biggest. I mean, that's a good line change is as good as an assist.
Well, and the coach, the one that showed me a great back checker. I'm sold. Love a great back checker.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the puck, but skates all the way from the offensive zone back and helps his defenseman out.
Defenseman. Yeah.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah.
No. Well, we've got to pay another bill here. We're gonna take a quick break, and then we'll be back for some modified trivia. Stay tuned, folks. Don't go anywhere. 2 Minute Man on the mic.
St. Louis hockey families and business leaders, if you need custom gear that stands out and stands for something, it's time to meet 5B Designs. Founded by Shannon Brahini, a proud St. Louis mom and entrepreneur, 5B Designs is a woman-owned small business that brings purpose to custom apparel. Whether you're suiting up your youth or high school hockey team or leveling up your company's branded swag, 5B delivers top-notch quality with a personal touch. Need team stores? Not a problem. Corporate polos or event giveaways? They've got you covered. 5B makes it easy with fast turnaround, flexible service, and designs your players or employees will love to wear. Check them out at stores.inksoft.com/5B Designs. That's the word 5. And if you are watching on our YouTube feed, go ahead and scan the QR code on the top right-hand corner of the screen and see what great gear and great service looks like. Real quick before we jump back in, if you're enjoying Too Many Men on the Mic, hit like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. It's a quick click for you, but it helps us grow the show and keep bringing you great hockey conversations. You can also follow us on Instagram by scanning the QR code on your screen. And be sure to download, follow, and rate the podcast on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, iHeartMusic, or wherever you get your podcasts. Or you can go directly to our website, www.tooManyMenOnTheMic.com. That's the number 2. Those small things from you help us keep delivering new guests, downloadable coaching content, and more from the rink. All right, back to the show.
And we are back, back from a nice segment with Chris Durso, and now we're moving into a continuation. We had this a little bit last week with some trivia. So this is a version 2 of the trivia, but we don't have Grant here. So
We could still put it up. I mean, we got to do the intro. I mean, we absolutely have to do. Got to do the intro.
Grant the Killer Salz.
Grant the Killer Salzman. Sometimes here.
It's Too Many Men on the Mic Hockey Trivia time. Now here's your host, Grant the Killer Salzman.
And he's on assignment.
Grant's on assignment. Grant's on assignment.
So what we're going to do here is a best of 5. So Jared's got 5 questions. I've got 5 questions, and whoever loses has to skate them out. And we'll get this on video.
Absolutely.
But these are tough questions. These are not slam dunks. And I'm going to move my screen.
For the listening audience at home, I originally wanted the loser to have to be in net and play goalie at our next practice, but somebody was a little afraid to do that.
I'm not a goalie.
The senior citizen on the on the show.
All right, so I'll fire first.
All right,
and then we can alternate. So I love this question because
you wrote it.
it's not right, but I found this question.
All right.
So, who is the only player, Jared, in NHL history to record 10 points, 6 goals, 4 assists?
Daryl Sittler.
That is
Toronto Maple Leafs. You know who his line mate was?
no.
Lanny McDonald.
So many people, I think, would have picked wing.
That's 1-0, right?
That's 1-0.
All right. Okay. So all of my questions started in 1972 or later.
Okay.
In deference to our fearless leader here. All right, here's one for you. Since 1983, there have been 8 U.S. born first overall draft picks. Can you name the first one?
Since 1983. First born.
Well, that doesn't mean 83. He was.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Since 1983, there's only been. Yeah, that's it. There's been 8 U.S. Yeah. So yeah, This, by the way, is our official timer.
I'm gonna take a stab. I do not know this one, and everyone that we can.
Brian Lott, Minnesota North Stars. That draft, we U.S. born players. There was 3 of the first 5 were U.S. born. That draft was Brian Lawton, Sylvain Turgeon, who was Canadian. You had Pat LaFontaine, American, Steve Yzerman, and then Tom Barrasso. So 3 of the top 5 were U.S. born players, and Brian Lawton, who actually had a decent career. I think most would say he didn't live up to first overall pick, especially when you had Turgeon, LaFontaine, Yzerman, and Barrasso following you. But yeah, absolutely. He went on to become a GM and was also a player agent. Yeah.
Okay, question 2. Who are the only 2 goaltenders in NHL history to earn a shutout in a game where they also personally scored a goal?
There's two of them. Shutout and a goal.
Shutout and a goal.
Well, whenever you're talking about goals and goalies, you have to talk about Martin Brodeur. Is he one of them? And I'm going to go on a limb here. Total homer. Chris Osgood.
I love the answers. No. Any roads.
Theodore. So it's 1-1 or 1-1. And now I'm gonna stick on the goalie trend here.
Okay.
Stick on the goalie trend here. This is very, very. This is not like me, but I'm gonna stay on the goalie track. Second question.
Yeah.
What goalie is the NHL all-time leader in points with 48?
48. That's a lot of
48 points. Points leader. Goalie points leader. Yes. Yeah.
I'm going to say Marty Brodeur.
Marty Brodeur is second with 47.
Who's first?
Tom Barrasso. 19 seasons, all assists. 48 assists over 19 seasons. It's almost 4 points a year.
That's amazing.
Actually, it's basically 4 points a year.
That's
I mean, as a defenseman, he's leading the rush. So it's 1-0, right? 1-0.
Yeah.
And it was this question 3.
This is question 3.
Question 3, 1-0.
Okay. So who leads the NHL all time total shots on net?
Total shots on goal, all-time leader, Ray Bourque.
Oh, well done. Well done. So Ray Bourque had 6,207.
He never saw a shot he didn't like.
How many times do we say in practice?
Shoot the puck.
Shoot the puck. Get the puck to the net.
I was in the old Maple Leaf Gardens. Some buddies of mine and we drove up to Toronto over spring break went to the Hall of Fame. Saw a Boston Bruins Toronto Maple Leaf game. I saw, Ray Bourque. You think he's going to score from the blue line? I saw him score from below the goal line. He was shooting from everywhere. There was no shot he didn't like. So, all right, I'm gonna. So in honor of the defenseman out there, here's a defenseman question.
Come on.
Every defenseman question starts with this name. Bobby Orr holds the record for most Norris trophies won with 8. 2 players in the history of the NHL have won 7. Can you name one of them? And I'll give you 2 points if you name them both.
2 players have won 7 Norris trophies. Nick Lidstrom.
On the board, folks. It's 2-1 for sure. Can you name the second to steal a point?
It's not Ray Bourque.
No, it's not Ray Bourque. It's not Ray Bourque. Ray Bourque won 3 Norris trophies, actually. Doug Harvey. From way back when, the original. Well, the thing about Bobby Orr, Brad Park, Hall of Fame defenseman, has the most runner-up Norrises. The eight Norris trophies that Bobby Orr won, Brad Park was runner-up 6 times. Yes. So we're on to question 4. The score is 2-1 in favor of Coach Jared. Is it 2? Yeah, 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. Question 4.
So this one's kind of fun, I think. This is a fun fact for all the kids out there. So this is going back way back in the day, early in the history of the sport of hockey, before rubber was used. What did manufacturers occasionally use to form hockey pucks?
before rubber was used, what they used for hockey pucks. Bone?
Good guess. Frozen animal dung.
Oh, gross!
Cow
Come on.
Horse manure.
So cow patties, huh? That's impossible. All right, it's 2-1. This is the fourth question for Coach Drew. I think we can still technically tie. Math is undefeated. You have to get this one right, though. You have to get this one right. All right, here's one. All right, I'm gonna, just because I want to go to overtime, because that's the kind of guy I am. I'm gonna give you one that you won't be able to show your face around town if you can't answer this question.
Let's hear it.
Who scored the fourth and final goal of the Blues' 2019 Stanley Cup Finals in Game 7 versus the Bruins?
Sanford.
We're tied at 2. Are we tied at 2?
Yeah.
We're tied at 2. It's question 5, tied at 2. Mountain on the line.
I still can't believe it.
I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what to say.
Okay. Being a Detroit guy, this one's coming to you.
Ooh.
And how many official Gordie Howe hat tricks, a goal, an assist, and a fight in one game for listeners out there that may forget what a Gordie Howe hat trick is? Did Gordie Howe actually achieve during his NHL career?
2. I have that same question on here. Actually, I'll share this question with everybody at home. So this question is, a Gordie Howe hat trick is a fight, an assist, and a goal in the same game. Gordie Howe had 2 in his career. Who had the most? This isn't your question,
Oh, yeah.
but I asked that same question.
I love it. Okay, so
So I'm up 3-2. I'm up 3-2. Is your final question? We gonna go to overtime. That's my question for you. Let me see here. Let me see. What we gotta get my question here. Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Gonna give a little. We've talked about goalies and defensemen way too much. Gonna give some love to the goal scorers out there. Of course, this could be a defenseman. You never know. What player in NHL history holds the record for most goals per game, minimum 200 games played, with an astounding .762 goals per game average in his career? 0.762. So, he's scoring in more than 3 out of every 4 games.
Seven. Say again. Give me the question one more time.
What NHL player holds the record for the highest goals per game average in the history with a minimum of 200 games played at .762 goals per game? Ladies and gentlemen, please come out to Brentwood Friday, August 14th to see Coach Drew do mountains.
Was it?
You were very close. Mary Lemieux is 2. Mike Bossy. Mary Lemieux is .754. Mike Bossy, .762. One of my favorite players growing up. I mean, Denny Potvin, Mike Bossy, Brian Trache. That was fun.
That was fun.
I had one thing I wanted to share with everybody. It's not necessarily a trivia question, but as I was doing research, I thought this was interesting.
Yeah.
Arguably the biggest trade in the history of all of sports was 1988 Wayne Gretzky to LA. And if you've ever seen these trade trees and how the assets move around over the years, when was the final asset in the Wayne Gretzky trade finally put to rest? The final, the branch of that tree was finally cut off.
So that trade was 88.
88.
Jimmy Carson was in that trade.
I'm not even asking who. I'm just saying what year was the final asset moved.
Final asset. I'm gonna say 93.
2022. September 13th, 2022. Let me read this to you. So this is the Marty McSorley branch of the Gretzky trade, because McSorley was part of this trade.
Okay.
So in 1996, Los Angeles trades Marty McSorley to the New Jersey Devils for Matthias Nordstrom, Ray Ferraro, Ian LaPerriere, Nathan Lafayette, and a draft pick. That's a big haul for Marty McSorley.
Yeah.
In 2007, Matthias Nordstrom, again, he was a rookie in 96. This is 11 years later, is traded to the Dallas Stars for Yaroslav Modry, Johan Franson, and a 2007 second round pick and a 2008 third round pick. These picks are what keep this thing going.
Wow. Yeah.
The 2008 draft, the Kings used the 2008 third round pick to select defenseman Jang Young Kim, who never signed. However, the Kings had previously flipped the other assets to acquire goalie Ben Bishop. In 2017, Los Angeles trades Ben Bishop to the Dallas Stars for a 2017 fourth-round draft pick. In the 2017 draft, the Kings used that fourth-round pick to draft Marcus Phillips. March 21st, 2022, the Kings trade Marcus Phillips to the Winnipeg Jets for Nelson Nogier. And on September 13th, 2022, Nogier leaves North America and signs in the KHL, officially making him the final active asset and closing the trade 12,453 days later.
Yeah, I didn't think about all this.
Greatest trade of all time. I don't know if there's a trade. Not to mention, I think they gave him $15 million cash too.
Oh yeah, they got money too.
But so, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's safe to say that on Friday, August 14th, if you're not doing anything around 4 o'clock and you're in the St. Louis metro area, even though Grant can't find it because it's in Brentwood, head up to Brentwood and go to the Brentwood Ice Rink, and we'll see Coach Drew paying his debt of mountains. He's got a week now to train.
And if you can't come to that, make sure you come out to Fallon's on August 20th from 6 to 9 o'clock. The Too Many Men on the Mic acoustic version is back at it over at Fallon's in beautiful Olivet, Missouri. We'll be there picking and grinning. So come check it out. We'll be playing some great music.
Well, Coach, great show. Thanks again to Chris Durso from Missouri Hockey for joining us. Thank you to Vantage Credit Union. Hey, we don't like your bank either, Vantage Credit Union, where St. Louis goes to bank. Tune in next week. We've got folks from USA Hockey joining us. And parents, stay calm. Take a deep breath. It's just hockey.